Hello, and welcome to another episode of Morgan's Pop Talks, breaking down the latest in reality TV and pop culture. Busy week, of course. We have to talk about that Bachelorette finale. We have Selling Sunset drama. We have more Jax Taylor drama. What else is new? We have the Mormon Wives show coming out on Friday, so we're going to discuss all of it. I have to tell you, I am not feeling the best at this current moment in time. I'm a little under the weather, but the show must go on, you know? This life don't wait for no one. I feel a little bit better than I did yesterday. Yesterday, I had a complete and total bed rot situation, where literally woke up at 10 o'clock, went back to sleep at 2 o'clock, then woke up at 4, went back to sleep after the 3-hour Bachelorette finale. But, I was just in one of those, let me try to sleep as much as possible. During that bed rot, I had a lot of, life revelations, I guess you could say. Well, I also had some spirals because first of all, do you ever try to talk yourself out of the fact that you're sick? You're like, I actually don't think I'm sick. I just ate something bad and then took a nap immediately after. And now I have the nap hangover, right? That's what I was trying to tell myself for 2 days. But then also I was analyzing reality TV and such as I do. I started watching Love is Blind UK. I've heard a lot of good things about Love is Blind UK, but I just haven't had honestly the willpower or the desire to dive headfirst into another TV show that's going to take away years off my life, both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all the things. But I was bed rotting, so I decided to give it a whirl. And I'm only 2.5 episodes in to Love is Blind UK, but I'm loving it. And you know what? I've said this before, and I'm really going to talk about it a lot in the deep dive today about the Bachelor franchise in general. But I was just shocked at how much more vibrant and exciting. And I was just shocked when you compare Love Island and Love is Blind to what's going on in the Bachelor franchise, even the way that the shows are filmed. I don't know what type of cameras they're using or whatever, but The Bachelor just looks like it's 50 years old compared to these new shows that are coming out. And I think it is contributing maybe to its downfall, its lackluster appeal as of 2024, but we're going to get into it. That's what I was thinking about yesterday when I was bed rotting. So as you could see, I have a lot to get off of my mind today. But first, let's start with the pop 3. This is a story that I found super interesting. I don't think it's real, okay, but there was this Travis Kelce Taylor Swift breakup contract, I'm using air quotes, leak. My dog just barked. I don't know if you heard it, but he's like, oh yeah, tell me more. Okay. So anyways, this document first made its rounds on social media on Reddit. I stay as far away from Reddit as possible because y'all are scary. The Redditors are scary out there, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But anyways, it was a document from Full Scope PR, which is an LA-based firm who does really in real life represent Travis Kelce. So it was this contract, and it said there's a split date of September 28th for Kelce and Swift. So it appeared to outline a plan for how to handle the reaction of the breakup. It said allowing the initial media frenzy to settle and ensure clarity. It looks like a Snapchat. It says, this is on Emily's desk right now. This is crazy. Who is Emily? Where is she? Was she fired? Was she created by AI? These are the questions that I need to know. People think that it was AI, and if it was, that's scary, man, because it really did look like a Snapchat. It really did look like whoever this person was in an office looking at Emily's desk. There were shadows on the paper. It looked real. So if it's real, then I'm terrified of what is to come from AI. Also, the document had 3 key messages: respect and privacy, professional focus, and personal growth. So then there was this little example of a public statement, and it said, Travis and Taylor have decided to part ways after careful consideration. They both value and respect each other's personal lives and appreciate your respect for privacy during this time. Now, a spokesperson for Full Scope PR like I said, who does represent Travis Kelce, made a statement saying that the document was entirely false and fabricated and was not created, issued, or authorized by this agency. And they got legal on it. They called the lawyers. They're getting it done. They put out another statement saying, we have engaged our legal team to initiate proceedings against the individuals or entities responsible for the unlawful and injurious forgery of documents. Now, there's a very good chance that this is fake, but I would really love it if it wasn't, because I would just love to see the behind the scenes moment of a breakup of this magnitude if they were to ever break up. Obviously, they're not going to do it on September 28th, as was fake planned, but I have to imagine that something like this goes down in the Hollywood sphere, right? Because everything is about saving face. Everything is about public perception. Everything is about popularity at the end of the day, especially for people like Taylor Swift. Maybe not as much Travis Kelce, because there are tons of football players who aren't necessarily popular in the court of public opinion, but he is more of a public figure now, hosting game shows and doing podcasts and all of these things. So Travis's rep, Jack Katosian, said he admitted to putting together showmances in the past. He explained back in 2019 that it's usually done to help floundering careers, which neither Taylor or Travis have. But like I said, I don't think it is real, but it would be fun if it was. I just like to pretend that it might be real. My mind is spiraling. I'm going to stop there. Let's move on to headline number 2. There was some major Selling Sunset drama that happened via social media over the weekend. A lot of people missed it because it was Labor Day and we were relaxing and we weren't checking Chrishell's Instagram stories over and over and over again. I was, unfortunately. But over the weekend, they were all fighting over Instagram. And my first thought is like, why do they constantly do this on Instagram stories? Do they not have each other's numbers? I don't know. I feel like every time a season of Selling Sunset is about to come out, Chrishell is tagging Nicole Young, mad about something that is going to happen in the upcoming season. So essentially this time it's Chrishell and Chelsea on behalf of Emma fighting with Nicole. So it first started with Chrishell's Instagram story. She said, someone needs to take my phone because are we really still giving airtime to liars that just want airtime? And then she had a little poll in the bottom that said, get Nicole off my screen, yes or yes. So she then says, I will never work on a show with her again. I would rather be sued. Then she says, disclaimer, when you watch, just know she spews a disgusting lie about a bestie that is categorically false and super damaging. It is not true. Then she takes aim at the production company. She says, Done and Done Productions, you are disgusting for blindsiding her with this to see with the world instead of letting her at least defend herself with the truth. So before I even saw Nicole's Instagram stories, I was like, this is about Emma. This has to be about Emma. They are besties. I don't feel like Chrishell would go above and beyond for anybody else on the cast besides Emma. So then I went to Nicole's Instagram stories and said, instead of attacking me and accusing me of lying, I think you ladies need to ask your bestie some tough questions. Did she let you know she was directly confronted on camera at the season 7 finale by the wife's best friend? Even still, I stated this info as a rumor, and given both of you have been the victim of extramarital affairs, I would think you too would stand for the sanctity of marriages. So obviously she's implying that Emma is involved in some type of affair, and like Chrishell said, it's a blatant, flat out rumor, whatever. So then Chelsea gets involved and she says, good morning, everyone except for Nicole. You're the most diabolical piece of trash I've ever met. Want to start a rumor about Emma? Done and Done Productions. Where is your moral ground and integrity? Spreading lies for views is so damaging. Welcome to reality TV, Chelsea. So then she tags Nicole, Bree, Ptsd, and Mary Fitzgerald and says, you lie, placate, steal. Meanwhile, your own trash has landed some of you in lawsuits. Then Chelsea says, Nicole isn't the only homophobic and transphobic member of the cast. Right? So this is a lot, and they are all slinging mud any which way. And I just feel like it's a low blow from Chelsea to go there, because that also is something that is very, very damaging, if not true. So she's getting mad at Nicole for potentially doing that to Emma, but then she's turning around and doing it to Nicole publicly on social media. And if you don't have proof to back up your claims, you shouldn't say something like that. That's just my opinion. And here's my thing, is that I personally, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I just don't really trust Chrishell all that much, especially after what happened last year with me. Okay, so in case you missed it, last year, I got some tea on the season of Selling Sunset and what happened between Chrishell and Amanza, right? They had this big falling out. They were friends for a long time. So before the season aired, I got this tea that Amanza was upset because Chrishell hired Amanza to renovate G's studio and did all these things. And long story short, the rug got pulled out from underneath Amanza, except for I gave a very detailed explanation, okay? At that point, Chrishell comments on my videos and says, this is simply not true, with an eye roll. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's not. Let's see how it plays out on this season of Selling Sunset. It played out exactly like I said it did. Exactly. Like word for word. I even went back and pieced it together, where I put my initial clip that happened on this podcast and then put what Amanza said at the reunion, back and forth. And it was word for word. So I'm just like, why would Chrishell even say something like that publicly if that is in fact what happened? And I know that there are two sides to every story, really three sides to every story. But after that, I just was kind of like, okay, Chrishell will cover her butt any way that she can. And I'm also just really confused because I remember something similar happening. I don't know if it was last year or the year before the season came out, specifically with Chrishell and Nicole, where they went on their Instagram stories and Chrishell was talking something about a beach house. Do you guys remember? I think it was like, I have it written down here. Okay. So it says, started in season 6. That's when Nicole started, when Young, a longtime Oppenheim Group agent, had joined the show, accused Chrishell of taking credit for two of her listings 3 years earlier. Okay. So they're always fighting. And then I get on Instagram today, after all that, after calling out production, after calling out everybody on the program. Sorry, I'm trying to get to this. And it's Chrishell on her Instagram story. Watch the dramatic first few minutes of Selling Sunset season 8 with a link to watch the show. So do you hate the show and you hate production and you won't come back because of the lies they spew for good reality TV? Or do you want everyone to click the link in your bio to watch the first couple minutes of season 8? You know, it just doesn't add up to me. So that's where I'm at. I will believe that Chrishell wants to quit the show when she quits the show. Last but certainly not least, let's get to Jax Taylor revealing he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and PTSD. So Jax shared on Instagram on Monday that he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and PTSD. He said, a little over a month ago, I checked into an intensive inpatient treatment facility, scared of the unknown and what I would find out about myself. He said, after many years of knowing something was wrong, but not knowing exactly what it was, I recently learned that I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and PTSD. It's been a lot to process and an emotional time for me. However, I've come home to my son with just a newfound sense of peace. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of the future, but my focus is just trying to be a better version of myself than I was yesterday. He said, mental health is a lifelong battle of not letting it control you, but rather you learning to control it. Thank you to everyone who has reached out in support and who has shared their own personal struggles with me. Your messages have helped more than you know. Obviously, this announcement comes off the heels of Brittany, his wife, filing for divorce. She filed on Tuesday, August 27th. So about a week later, he makes this post. So the date of separation, like I said last week, was January 24th. She cited irreconcilable differences. And just to like really break this down for you, I know we all know what bipolar and PTSD is, but think of Jax Taylor and then listen to the definition. So Bipolar disorder is a mental illness that causes extreme mood swings or shifts that can affect a person's energy, thinking, behavior, and sleep. These shifts can make it difficult to perform daily tasks. Then post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental condition that can develop after a person experiences or witnesses a traumatic event. So the first question I saw that fans had was, what does Jax have PTSD from? So I went to the comment section and he said it was from losing his family on the same day. If you don't know what that means, Jax lost his father. He passed away. And then after that, had a huge falling out with his mother about how his mom handled his dad's illness. So he, physically lost his father, and then not long after, emotionally lost his mother, and they do not speak anymore. So Jax doesn't have either of his parents in his life. However, after this, I also saw Brittany like a post on Instagram talking about being with a narcissist and how has a narcissist ever ruined a big day for you? Whether it be a birthday party, a holiday, they have to make it all about themselves, and she liked it. So I feel like if you ask Jax, he'll tell you I'm bipolar. If you ask Brittany, she will say he's a narcissist. So we'll see. Of course, I have to throw this out there. They are filming for the Valley season 2. We've seen pictures of Jax and Brittany kind of avoiding each other in public. They're on a cash trip right now. Jax is not there. I believe they're going to Hawaii, and he was not on the flight with all of them. And scene. Okay, let's get into this week's deep dive. The Bachelorette finale, the most dramatic finale ever. Shocking. Surprising, dramatic. Was it? Some would say. I would say it actually wasn't the most shocking or dramatic when it comes to content, because it was predictable. I didn't know any spoilers of this season, but it was pretty commonly known that Jen was going to propose to him. And that was supposed to be the shocking, dramatic part, right? That was supposed to be the big twist. This new twist of Devin breaking up with her only came within the past couple of weeks. But I'm going to go ahead and go through the whole entire episode. It's a deep dive, baby, so buckle up. We're down to the final 2, Devin and Marcus. And this is when they're meeting Jen's family. And Jen's family hates the idea of the Bachelorette. The mom literally wants to crawl into a hole. She will not look at the camera, which I know you're not supposed to, but her brother James is like, I'm only here so I don't get fined. I will beat up every single boy that walks through this door who wants to play with my sister. And the mom is like, Jen, you've only known these people for 5 minutes. This is not how our culture operates when it comes to dating. She's basically like calling her to the carpet. And Jen's like, but mom, Devin wants to learn Vietnamese, and her mom's like, oh, Jen, please. He's just telling you this because it's on a TV show. And at the time we were like, oh no, but Devin's genuine. But was he genuine is the question. I think James is the MVP, not only of the guys meeting the family, but of the episode. I think James, life, liberty, the pursuit of James. I want to be with James. If you're a bird, I'm a bird. Like if you smile, I smile. That's how I feel about Jen's brother, James. He was just so protective, so vulnerable. When he gave that little answer at after the final rose, and they're like, James, how you feeling? He's like, not good. I was like, oh, that's when you knew something was up. Love James. Hindsight is 2020, right? Devin was saying all of the right things, and he even asked James for his blessing to propose to Jen, and James said no, which, like I said, hindsight is 2020. Did James just know that something was not right about Devin? He did say, I don't want to give that blessing to you until I meet Marcus. However, that could have just been an easy answer. But he says, I do respect that you asked. I love that, actually. Devin does not love it. He's going on another spiral. He's like, to hear her family be so, worried about the whole thing, I'm wrestling with my own sanity at this moment. And here was my point all along. Throughout the episode, I was starting to get concerned that Marcus was being painted as the villain of the episode, right? Because he wasn't where he needed to be with Jen. But what I like about Marcus is that he was honest about it the whole entire time. He didn't lie. He was continuously open about the fact that he was struggling, that he didn't know if he could get there, that he feels himself holding back. Unpopular opinion, I don't think that it's Marcus's fault that he made it as far as he did. You know, he never, until the very end, he never said, I love you. He never was promising her an engagement. And at the end of the day, Jen was the one that was handing out roses. So like, yes, he could have self-eliminated. But I also do believe that he wanted a relationship with Jen. There was obviously a connection there, but I think the pressure cooker that is the engagement at the end of it gets to a lot of people. But anyways, that I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, we get to the last chance dates, right? And Devin and Jen go first. Marcus doesn't end up having one with Jen. But their last chance date is about letting go of the past and embracing the future. And Devin is spiraling about how he self-sabotages. And he says, I don't allow myself to have a good thing. He says, tonight, I want her to feel the weight of my soul. Who says that? Tonight, I want her to feel the weight of my soul. I should have known. That should have been the red flag moment that all was not what it seemed with Devin. He said, I want to make sure that she knows I'm here to fight for her every day. Really? Really? Okay. He gives her a little present. The shaman told him not to give it out until he knew who he wanted for the rest of his life. And he says, I can't be more proud to say that I want to give it to you, right? So he's just checking all the boxes. Check, 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 check. He's emotionally available. He's ready to get engaged. He's going to fight for me every single day. He knows what it takes to have this long-term relationship work. And then you have Marcus, who is the opposite, right? And doesn't even get his final chance date because Jen pretty much made up her mind at this point. Because I don't have a clue where your head is at, Marcus, I can no longer do this with you. So he said, Marcus says, I've been struggling with this doubt of whether or not Jen and I are meant for each other. I just want Jen to be happy. I want what's best for her. And then he says, part of me really does love Jen. And we're like, okay. And he says, but there's not a point where he can love her fully and with certainty. So we're all like, this is the end of the road. And all of a sudden, he squeaks out an I love you. And we're all like, what? He's like, I do love you. You know, like pulling to, oh, I love you, Jen. And we're like, wait, what? At the end of the day, I know I do love you. I want to give it a try. I don't want to give up on us. And in that moment, we were all praying that Jen wasn't leeching on to those three words because we've all been there. I have been there. This dude could be the most toxic dude in your life. But if he says, I love you, or an even ILU over text, you make all kinds of excuses for him. You're like, oh yeah, he ignores me Thursday through Sunday, but he told me that he loves me. He just doesn't know how to handle his emotions. He doesn't know how to be in a committed relationship, but he sent the ILU to me 3 times at 3:00 in the morning on Friday night. So what am I supposed to do? Give up on him? I'm not supposed to give up on him. True love conquers all. And it's like, no, this is not that type of true love conquers all, because suddenly you have amnesia after he says, I love you, when you're ignoring all the red flags. But Jen didn't fall for it. And I'm really happy that she didn't do that. She says, I think your uncertainty in this allowed me to give myself answers and give myself the love back to me that I needed. So she breaks up with him, and then they sit down together after the final rose. And their sit down actually made me happy because, like I said, throughout the episode, I was thinking like, oh, people are going to villainize Marcus for what they're seeing on the show. And I just don't feel like we should villainize people who aren't ready to get engaged and are honest about it. Yes, I understand that that is the premise of the show, but it's not natural and it's not normal. And to pretend like it is isn't real and it isn't authentic. So I applaud Marcus for actually being honest with his feelings. I was fully expecting Jen to come out and be like super mad at Marcus, but she wasn't. And that's the moment where like, what did Devin do? Because we were all expecting this to be, you know, the end of Marcus as we know it. And then she says, I'm going to choose myself the next day during the proposal, and I'm not going to let Devin propose because I'm going to propose to him, which was the rumor. That was the rumor going around the block, that this shocking moment was that Jen was going to propose to Devin. And this is just my opinion. I'm sorry, but I hate it. I hate that. When I heard that that is what was going to happen, I was like, no, please don't let that be the plot twist. And like, if that's what you did in your life, more power to you. I just don't like this because I can guarantee you that it actually wasn't Jen's idea. I can guarantee you that the producers got in their little editing room or whatever, and they're like, okay, how can we make sure that we can say nothing like this has ever happened before? And this is what they have come up with, right? Last season, it was Daisy and Kelsey riding together for Joey and Kelsey to get engaged. Now it's this. And I just also feel like one moment, one plot twist, if you will, doesn't make up for an entire lackluster season. And I'm not just talking about Jen's season. If you have been around for long enough, you know that I feel like the Bachelor franchise for the past couple of years has been going downhill. I mean, the ratings aren't as good. People aren't as interested. I think it really peaked with Pilot Peter and Hannah Brown. And then ever since then, it's just kind of gone downhill. And one moment isn't going to make up for that. And that's why I'm going to save that point until the end. So we're still wondering what happened. We don't see the proposal because Jen is hyperventilating in the wings, literally waiting to be called on stage. She's hyperventilating. She's crying. And we're like, what the heck happened? Like, I'm thinking that somebody killed her dog or something. And then we realize that they broke up. And this is what Jen says about their breakup. We had left Hawaii engaged, and it was the happiest day of my life. And then essentially, as soon as we left Hawaii, things were just different. It kind of just felt like he was pulling away. He wasn't calling as much. He wasn't texting as much. He basically said that he didn't love me anymore and didn't feel the same way. He denied ever being in love. He was checked out. It wasn't what he wanted anymore. Then she says, he was sitting here telling his mom that I was the one. He sat in front of my mom and said that I was the one. And like, Devin's out there and he's mute, I'm afraid. He lost the ability to speak because I still have no idea like what Devin's reason was for breaking up with Jen. Do any of us actually know why Devin broke up with Jen? Why he flipped the script so quickly to never having been in love, not wanting to get engaged? I mean, I have a theory. And I've said it before, I think in Bachelor world, there are two types of people that really get swept up in the lights, camera, action of it all. And that are people that are easily manipulated and people who are looking for their 15 minutes of fame. And these types of people will play the game, right? Because there's also an element of competition to it. If you get 30 guys in a room and one woman and you're like, fight to the death, she's going to marry one of you, your ego is going to get a little ramped up in that process. And when you have all these romantic dates and you're jet setting all over the world, you know, sometimes they actually start to believe this la la land that they're in. You know, they can fall into the pressure cooker that is trying to get engaged after knowing somebody for 9 weeks, going on 2 one-on-one dates, 1 overnight and 1 hometown date. You know, they start to believe the lies that are being told that you really are falling in love and this is your journey and all these things. And then you have the people who will play the game because they want screen time. They want that influencer life. They want that ticket to paradise. So I feel like Devin, probably all 3 of those reasons applied to him. There was a competition aspect of it. He wanted to be on TV, as most people do who go on The Bachelor. And also he got swept up in the moment. He got caught up in it. And then when you go to reality, it's a very jarring experience to be in the real world. Where's my helicopter date? To the waterfall. Like, you don't have that anymore. And reality sets in and you realize, I believed that this was my happily ever after when really it's not. And now what do I do? Because I'm potentially going to have all of this public scrutiny on me if I break up with this person because I fed into the lie, you know, because that's essentially what it is. And now all of us are sitting here saying we owe Sam M and Aaron an apology. Ouch, that one hurts. And then there's the revelation that Devin followed Maria right after their breakup, and we all collectively got the ick. And that, unfortunately, is where we are right now. So if that is like one of the first things you do post breakup, that's pretty telling. And again, I think it just goes to show what a wash of a season this was. It's very clear that they cast the show and that Maria was their number one pick. And I feel bad in this moment, because like I said, I don't think any of the guys were actually cast for Jen. Jen blasts Devin for going clubbing with Jeremy. Jeremy's in the audience. Like, I very much so do not want to be a part of this narrative. Rachel Rakia is crying in the back because she's having Tino flashbacks. I was like, where's James? Where is James? Can the camera cut to James? I want to know what he thinks. I want him to hype his sister up. In this moment, it was an absolute mess. It was a mess. And also, I think Rachel might have been a little triggered by the comparison game, because she had to deal with that with Gabby, right? Where they both were on the show at the same time. More of the guys, I should say, were into Gabby than Rachel. Gabby got to go on Dancing with the Stars. Rachel didn't. And she's kind of seeing Jen go through the same thing with like the ghost of Maria's past, who never was officially on the show, but everybody thought it was going to be her. She was brought up multiple times throughout the season. And now her ex-fiance, that's the first person that he follows when they break up. It's just not good. So here's where like it gets really, really messy. They twist the knife in Jen's heart by making her watch the proposal next to Devin in front of a live studio audience. They had the square at the bottom of the TV with Jen sobbing. And I think it just goes to show how out of touch this show has officially become. Just taking L's all across the board, because there are so many ways to avoid traumatizing and humiliating your lead on national television. Stick to the normal format. Show the engagement, have them come out, reveal they have broken up, and hash it out. They've done it time and time again. They're not the first people to go through a breakup on the Bachelor franchise, but they have to do this shocking twist. They have to get people talking. They have to do something for shock value, and this time it is at Jen's expense. And I just feel like in general, the show does not have a pulse on what a good reality TV show looks like at the moment. They don't, because nothing has really changed. Nothing is really new, except for the last hour, right? The finale. And you cannot bank an entire franchise on having a good finale, because there were, 9 episodes in between night one and the finale that were a total snooze fest. There were moments that were interesting, but it's like you're going on the same dates, you're going on the helicopter, you're going to the waterfall, you're going on the hot air balloon. Like, do something different. I said it on the page earlier. Let the ex come back into the house. Tell Jen, sorry, you have to let the ex come back into the house, because every time the ex comes, they just shoo him away. And it's like, okay, been here, done that a million times. Have a group date where they show surveillance of the guys in the house. What do they talk about when Jen's not around? There are other things that you can do to make this show interesting. And the fact that that is the way they thought they should make the show interesting, I think is really, really disheartening. It was like cruel and unusual punishment. I mean, she could have exited the stage. She could have sat with her family, but they made her sit there and watch it with Devin. I don't know. I mean, I have been brutally honest in the fact that I've been on the verge of a breakup with the Bachelor franchise for a very long time. I keep watching it for you guys. I do love the Golden, so I'm holding on hope that Joan's season is good. But like, this really feels like a waste. And now, of course, Devin posted these text messages on his Instagram story that were very quickly deleted, but text messages between him and Jen where he's like trying to talk in person to break up and saying things like, well, Jen, you also said you wanted to break up, and getting his side of the story out there. And like, look, like I said, there are two sides to every story. There's going to be Jen's side. There's going to be Devin's side. Do I think Devin is the worst human to walk the face of the earth? No, I don't. I think he got caught up in a moment. It's a very human thing to do, but he'll go on podcast. He'll probably be on the Vow Files by the time this comes out, and Jen's going on Dancing with the Stars. So more power to her. Last but certainly not least, let's do final thoughts. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives comes out this week, and I have never been more excited for a show than I am this one. Honestly, the ladies of Mom Talk, they did the dang thing, and they got themselves a reality TV show on Hulu. I'm so excited for the Mormon Moms show. I can't tell you. Like I said, we're upping the reality TV game. This is what that looks like, okay? So in case you missed it, once upon a time, there was this little thing called Mom Talk. It was a TikTok group made up of this group of Mormon wives in Utah. It blew up. Millions of followers. The husbands were sometimes involved in the videos. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, hashtag Mom Talk, Taylor and Macy and all these cute little girls, And then it all went left because they were engulfed in a huge cheating and soft swinging scandal that took the internet by storm. So now the show is following up on the aftermath. It stars Taylor Frankie Paul, who is like the girl. She is the girl who created it all. Demi Engelman, I should have read these before. Jennifer Affleck, Jesse, I have no idea. I'm just going to say their first names, okay? Taylor, Demi, Jennifer, Layla, Macy, Michaela, and Whitney. Now, some of these women have denied ever being a part of the soft swinging scandal, but Taylor is definitely the ringleader. She's the most well-known. In fact, the first episode of the show is called The Book of Taylor. So back in the height of Mom Talk, she gets divorced from her husband. Claimed that she and her husband had indeed been in an open relationship and had an agreement with other couples in their friend group. In one of her videos, she was careful not to name names, but reported that she and her husband had been soft swinging. She said the whole group was intimate with each other. She, though, then admitted that she violated the group's soft swinging policies. So she said, to be honest, we had an agreement, like all of us, and I did step out of what that agreement was, confessing that she had gone all the way with someone in the group. So I guess the agreement was you can do anything as long as the person's spouse is in the room with the couple. Well, I guess Taylor snuck off with somebody, did something else, and her husband wasn't there. Then they got divorced. So people in this cast have denied that they were not in this. Macy, Whitney, and another girl called Victoria have posted videos saying they were never involved in it. But there was also this girl named Miranda and her husband Chase, who posted a video denying they were involved and claiming that Miranda had a falling out with Taylor because Taylor allegedly started a rumor that Chase had feelings for her. Reality TV gold. Not only that, after her divorce, Taylor started dating someone new. She ended up getting arrested. You do see that arrest in the trailer. So I guess they got the body cam footage for that and they put it in the show. So a lot of juice here, a lot of juice. And I'm really interested to see how it plays out. All 8 episodes drop on the same day, and that is tomorrow, Friday. So if you're looking to bed rot, if you're feeling a little under the weather, I highly recommend what's the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and Selling Sunset also drops on Friday. So you're going to have to pick, but just bed rot all weekend and watch them both and you'll be happy as a clam. Okay. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Don't forget a little review, a love you like a sis, a 5-star boop boop, anything helps the show. So if you haven't left a review yet, please do so. If not, I'll see you next week for another episode of MPT. And as always, love you like a sis.